Hi guys, it's Marieta. Thanks for tuning in. In today's video, I want to actually talk about 10 books that you should read if you want to live your American dream. And this was actually requested video by some of you guys, people who attended my recent live webinar. And so I do want to share with you a list of books that I actually read during the time when I was making transition from Slovakia to the US and while I was building my business, etc. So these are actually 10 books that helped me to build my company, live my American dream, and I highly recommend all of them. So the first book that I'm gonna recommend to you is actually A Breaking Habit of Being Yourself. This is a book by a wonderful guy, Dr. Dispenza, who is actually going to explain why you need to break the habit of your old self and how you need to do it if you want to be successful. And recently I realized that I need to actually give you this type of videos, guys, because some of you want to start businesses, you have the capital, or you are looking for a way to obtain a capital, but at the same time you guys don't have the right mindset. And it's important to get the right mindset. And I've been studying this self-development for over 15 years now, so it's nothing new to me, but I never actually disclose it. So I realized that I need to give you more information so you guys can actually change the habit of being your old self. And this book is definitely the book if you want to change the habit of your old self and if you want to become the new self. Because if you want to make the shift, you want to make the transition, you need to become a new self. Okay, so this is a wonderful book that's going to help you to do that. The second book I do want to recommend is my favorite, which is, and you probably heard of this book before, it's a very famous book. It's a classic when it comes to business development, and it's called Think and Grow Rich. So Think and Grow Rich is going to, by Napoleon Hill, is going to show you how you can go from nothing to a millionaire. And therefore, it's actually called Think and Grow Rich. It's not called Work and Grow Rich. It's called Think and Grow Rich. And I really highly recommend this book. Actually, I read this book a couple of times, and I'm going to read the book again because it's just a gem. And the guy wrote the book, I believe, in 1895 or something like that. I'm not quite sure on that, but it's definitely old book. But it has wisdom within, and you absolutely need to read this book. If you don't know this book, make sure to start reading the book. Actually, I would even read it before the rest of the books I'm going to give you. This is the number one book, business book you need to read if you want to create your life, your American dream, and if you want to be successful in the US as an entrepreneur. The book number 3 I would recommend is Blue Ocean Strategy. Every time people say that, oh my God, like you have to consider, if you actually want to start a business, you have to consider, first do the market research and who is your competition and check them out. And then based on that, you have to set up your strategy and your pricing, etc. and your positioning. Not so much. Because in the Blue Ocean Strategy, the author is going to actually teach you how you can create the entirely new ocean, that's why it's called Blue Ocean, and how you can actually eliminate the competition. So yeah, I highly recommend this book, especially if you are a new entrepreneur, if you're just starting out, and if you feel like you actually fear that competition, you need to read this book. Book number 3 I want to recommend is Success Principles by Jack Canfield. This is also a classic book that has principles that are pretty known, law of attraction principles, mindset principles, and it's a classic book. He's also doing wonderful webinars, seminars based on the book, based on the success principles. So I highly recommend this book as well. The book number 5 is actually Dotcom Secrets by Russell Brunson. Now, this is a great book for people who want to start online businesses, whether it's online coaching, consulting. Actually, not even that. It's actually for everyone who needs to boost up your sales, especially if you're selling online, not necessarily e-commerce business types. anything that you sell online, you need to read this book. It's a wonderful book. It's actually mind-blowing, and it's a guy who founded, who actually started ClickFunnels, and so without sales funnel, there is no sale. Obviously, the book is wonderful, and actually there is another book that he actually published. I forgot the name now, but I read both these books, and wonderful books. I'd highly, highly recommend. Now, book number 6. It's by Eckhart Tolle, New Earth. Now, this is slightly different. This is not necessarily a business book, but I believe that the heart is the new brain, and you have to, if you want to do good in this world, if you want to create wonderful and transformational business, you have to come from your heart, and you have to serve from your heart. And if you don't serve from your heart, forget it. Now, this book is slightly spiritual. I love this book because actually I read it like 2 years ago, but it was very transformational. And so even though this is not necessarily a business book, I still recommend it because it's gonna stretch your mind, and it's gonna stretch your understanding. And if you can read that book and combine some of these principles and create business around that, that's gonna be just transformational. So I highly recommend that book. It's one of my favorites. The next book is 5 Seconds Rule. Now, this book is amazing if you have a problem with procrastination, okay? If you are someone who is, and I used to suffer, I used to really procrastinate, and I realized that actually procrastination, it's a habit. It's a habit that you need to destroy. You need to destroy this habit because it's gonna block you, stop you from moving forward. And for example, you want to move to the US, but you procrastinate. You've been thinking about it for years, 2 years, 3 years. Some people, people that I actually talk to, aspiring entrepreneurs or already entrepreneurs who want to move to the US, they all say the same thing. I've been thinking about it. It's been like 1 year, 2 years. Man, you got to stop it. Do something about it. You procrastinate because you actually created habit in your mind that is about procrastination, and you have to break the habit, and you will break the habit. And actually I did separately video, I think a year ago, where I was promoting this book. By the way, I'm not affiliated with this book, okay? So nobody's paying me for telling you this information, by the way, just so you know. I'm not making any money. I'm sharing this information because it helped me. This book is great because it's very simple, and yet you can implement it fast. It's 5 second rules. You count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go, and then you go. That is actually how you're going to break that old pattern. And the same, the first book that I was telling you about, the Breaking the Habits of Being Yourself by Dr. Dispenza, he's actually teaching very similar principle. But this author of the book 5 Second Rule, Mel Robbins, she's actually pretty big now, and she's pretty famous because she helped so many different people break the old habits. And that's how you actually break it, when you count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. All right, the next book is Way of Wolf by Jordan Belfort. If you've seen the video, the Wall Street guy, Wolf of the Wall Street, so he wrote this book, and this book is about sales. So if you are in business, actually any kind of business, and if you don't master the sales process, you will not make any money. So it's a good book if you are starting out, if you have no clue how to make a sale, how to close somebody. It's a wonderful tool. Some of the things I personally don't agree with, but definitely the guy himself accomplished great things when it comes to business, making money and being successful. So I do recommend that book as well. The next book is You Are Badass at Making Money by Jane Sincero. And this is a great book for someone who has limiting beliefs around money. And I'm sure that many of us do, because I can see that. Like every time I talk to you guys, I'm on the call, we have a consultation, I can sense, I can feel like majority of you guys have limiting beliefs around the money. And so if you want to be successful, if you want to make money in your life, you have to remove the limiting beliefs. And this book goes deeper and talk about it. The next one is Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And I'm sure that you know this book. Everyone knows this book. It's another classic. I read this book a long time ago. I think I read it like 8 years ago. I actually attended one of their seminars. Very useful book if you are in business, not necessarily real estate. In general, absolutely a must read. It's another classic. And now I'm also going to give you one extra book, which I think is a great book. And it's called The Science of Getting Rich. And this is actually a book that also I read. I think I read this book when I started in New York. This was 2010. Yeah, and I read the book and it was absolutely transformational. I understood that actually that gave me the power to, apply for the bar exam, become a licensed attorney, etc. So I highly, highly recommend this book as well. If you have a big dream, you don't know how to do it, etc., you need to read this book. So that's it, guys. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have any question, comments, put them below. If you are new to my channel, make sure to subscribe. And also I want to hear from you. If you have any additional suggestions, comments, things that you want me to discuss, please leave a comment below. I actually do check all the comments and I do reply to your comments. So make sure to do that. Also, if you want to start a business, you want to dig deeper in this topic, you want to know how to do it, you want to know how to get the visa, investor visa, how you can move to the US, live your American dream, make sure to sign up for my webinar. I'm going to post the link below this video and I'll see you there. Thanks for watching.